I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we are going to switch the agenda up a little bit here. Jared has to leave, so Jared, do you want to start?
Yeah, so if you go away, I'll address one of the old business things. Homer North Drain. I got Neil Douglas to come out this last week or the end of the week, and we looked at it, and it was pretty bad. It hasn't probably been touched in ages. That's probably why there's a lot of backup with ponding water around Homer, laying and everything, and other complaints that we've had in the past. So he was able to suck it out, ran his snake through it to get a good idea where one tile goes up towards the county field to the east, and jetted everything. So it looks good and clean now. We'll wait to get enough rain. We'll be able to see how it flows. But it was flowing good when he left, so fingers crossed that does it. Dealing with that, though, I found that I still haven't found any schematics for Storm's water system, which is it makes it hard to fight and find problems and dissect them. So working on figuring something out for that and starting doing, as we deal with them, start locating and documenting. So Vance and Justin helps. On Friday we did the lights on the street lights. So thanks to them, they jumped right on it. We came out and did what we could to get it done initially, and then thanks to Chuck for donating his lights here for the town hall, to the town on the main street out here up front. So if you see that, that's compliments of Chuck and his hard work in putting all that out there. He still has some more stuff, believe it or not. So,
Can I add something to that real quick?
yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow, they're gonna be putting up the nativity around the bank,
Yes.
and I don't want people to be aware, but there's gonna be a lot of movement when they put that big thing up there.
Okay.
And that's gonna be at 10 o'clock, so you might wanna.
10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Police-wise, business has picked up a little bit lately, but business as usual. Besides that, service vehicle. If you get any calls or complaints or anything on the leaves not getting picked up at the beginning of the week, one is because the dump truck that pulls it. He was going to do it Tuesday, but it went down. It is now back up and running again, and he's going to go suck leaves tomorrow morning, first thing. So, and if anybody gets any leaves collected up, they let me know, and we can have them go back later in the week and hit it again.
You have a trophy.
Yeah. So,
They fit forward.
so, but I then quit working on the dump truck, but Justin was able to get the part and get it fixed today. So it's back up and operating. We have not gotten our salt delivered yet. I checked with the feed mill again today.
Okay, call me.
So,
It's fine.
I can't think of anything else. JR's truck, I told him to schedule it with Dodge because it's got the Dodge tick in it, like the lifter's busted. So it's still in warranty. So hopefully we can get that figured out because it's not very old. And it sounds pretty bad. So. But he's been off on leave, so been filling in where we can. So, cameras. Old business too, real quick. I am purchasing 2 standalone cameras that are based on like a 4G network and solar powered, and they're much cheaper. I'm going to start off with 2 and see, put them here or there, try to catch some things. So if you see
Town-wide or?
yes. So and they're movable. So we only have able to force a month. That's going to come out of my police budget, which is fine because I'm going to utilize it for deterrence and some crime issues. So. But it'll be a good point to say if they work good, then maybe we go that route instead of going to 40,000. You're getting in $40,000 range for true systems for towns all over. So, but that's all I think I've really got for now.
To stop your joyride gun?
Yes, that would be nice. I have the alleys. I've looked at the alleys again. Some of the alleys are off a little bit, like the one behind the old dairy store. You see the white; those are actually surveyor stake points that Brian had done. I went out and dug down to confirm, just to make sure that that's where, that alley actually is more over into some of those residence properties where they have a fence and stuff, so. I've already talked to one of them about it, to move a car and everything like that, so, but that was, I've talked to some other residents over there about alleys that we're looking at. Brian did want to come, I don't think he's here today, running for, he wanted to discuss vacating an alley between Second and Third, between South and Anderson. It's just a grass one running north and south. I said, there's no utilities or anything like that.
Is there not?
No, there's none. The utilities run on the alley running east and west.
Are you positive?
Yeah, I won't double
Sewer
check.
line?
I don't know about that.
I think that's.
Okay, so I'll double check that, but just so you know, in case he asks or you hear submit a request, that he's looking at doing that. I told him I don't know.
It is going from south, it's through that, where that alley would be.
Yeah, but northbound, you
I
don't.
don't know where it goes north at. Dad would know, but I don't.
Okay, that's something we can look at. It's not a rush thing, it's just, I'm marking alleys right now to try to see where we go and what, so. I don't have anything else, so that, Kilo, he's back today, really for the first time with me, he's out in the truck right now, so. Just doing some obedience and stuff, and we go next Tuesday back down to Plainfield to do some, training and recertification to get him back on the street. So, he's healed, he looks good, he runs, and he's back to his old Mount Hall self, so.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Alright. I will just finish this. Steve, you have anything?
No, I do not.
Finish that off. So, that's it. Alright.
So I'm here tonight for two zoning ordinance amendments. The first one is zoning ordinance amendment A85, referring to said petition to amend the White County, Indiana zoning control ordinance. Please be advised, this petition was properly advertised by the White County Area Planning Commission. This petition was heard in a public hearing on November 10th, 2025 by the Area Planning Commission. This petition was voted upon by the Area Planning Commission at that same meeting. The Area Planning Commission voted to recommend Amendment A85 to the legislative bodies by a vote of 11 in favor and 0 against. Amendment A85 is a proposal to amend a standard for electronic messaging signage. This is going to be in regard to the orientation of the sign if located within close proximity to a residential district or property used for residential uses. Basically, the BZA saw, I would say, between three and five variance hearings regarding electronic signage. Several businesses, churches, et cetera, were wanting to upgrade their signs. And because of close proximity to residential districts, they would have had to orientate their sign a certain way. Most recently, the Woolpit Church here on Range Street had to undergo a variance. So this reduces that distance, hopefully will prevent the recurring variances from needing to occur. It's the only change that was made. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
It was within 100 feet or?
It used to be within 5, so that pulled a lot of residences in, and now we've lessened it to 100.
I make a motion to adopt amendment A85.
Second,
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed?
Thank you. So the second one is Amendment A86, referring to said petition to amend the White County, Indiana zoning control ordinance. Please be advised, this petition was properly advertised by the White County Area Planning Commission. This petition was heard in a public hearing on November 10th, 2025 by the Area Planning Commission. This petition was voted upon by the Area Planning Commission at that same meeting. The Area Planning Commission voted to recommend Amendment A86 to the legislative bodies by a vote of 11 in favor and 0 against. The purpose of this amendment includes, but is not limited to, updating Chapter 3 specific use requirements and performance standards, and more specifically pertaining to data center development. So the items within this amendment were discussed in depth at least 3 ordinance amendment task force meetings. It was touched on at the first meeting that we had, but 3 meetings were designated solely to this, use. There was collective support to take the amendment to the area planning commission. Again, it's coming to you unanimously. There are several additions to the ordinance that weren't previously in there. That includes, property value guarantees that would now be required within an economic development agreement. There are several additional studies and who is responsible for reviewing them, as well as a handout we would provide to a developer. Safety training has been incorporated to all police, fire, EMS, and 911, and includes neighboring jurisdictions because they do provide mutual aid. We included an emergency water shutoff and backup containment systems. We included some lighting restrictions, clearly defined lighting restrictions. And we did a couple different setback increases, one for non-residential abutting parcels and one for parcels that have residential use. So it doesn't necessarily have to be zoned residential. It could be zoned agriculture just with a house on it. Those increase for the residential use one from 30-foot side and 20-foot rear to 250 feet to the property line or 500 feet to the outermost point of the dwelling. We are also requiring, in some instances, berms and all exterior surface structures have to be within an enclosed building. Generators have to be in the enclosure. Generators have to meet EPA Tier 4 emission standards, and several other,
Most generators don't need, they don't have to.
by our ordinance.
I know,
they
but
would have to, right?
The, what do you call it, Chris? The stationary engines do not have to meet Tier 4.
But this.
I know, but they don't, do they even make them though?
They don't make them anymore that aren't Tier 4 that I know of.
They aren't, ours is not,
It's not.
no. That rolls is up there, food is not Tier 4. It has zero emissions.
Well, my guess is, where I read this, the generators will have to be Tier 4.
Right, but I'm just saying, I don't think stationary engines have to follow EPA standards.
I'm hoping these do.
I'm aware of
So-
them too, but I mean, I'm just stating, I don't think that they have to.
Okay. But so I guess you're saying that if they would have backup generators, it has to be Tier 4 emission standards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the minimal, things that I wrote down to kind of highlight. I'd be happy to answer anything. Betty and Janet attended several of the meetings of the task force. You attended, I was getting to you. Mike also attended too, so.
We're getting a lot of questions about all this stuff. And now that we've got the study and everything, we're gonna have a lot more. So before we take a vote on whether or not to pass this, I'd like to table it. I mean, we have until, what, February, before we have to worry about passing it. Why do we have to wait until then? We don't have to wait until we pass until.
So we have to go through and look at everything and.
Right, yes, but I'm asking why she's saying February, what's February?
So February is the 90-day cutoff.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, that's what I wasn't
No, you're
understanding.
You're fine.
Oh,
I was reading through that, and we have, you guys have, no, my words are gone, approved it or, so, but we have,
But we have people, we have to talk to them. And I just think that we should wait before we vote on this.
Are there specific questions that we can take back? I mean,
At
specific
this
questions.
moment,
I have, the building setbacks, I think the 500 feet is not enough,
Sufficient?
not sufficient. I think somebody told me 1,300 feet is for the solar panels. So, I mean, I think 1,500 would be the bare minimum.
So how does this work? You'll still have a task force?
Yeah, the task force is going to continue.
So if we send an email to you saying we would like you to consider changing this to this, would that then be brought up with the the task force?
It
And
could
then you
be,
do an amendment?
yes, it could be. The task force sole purpose is not just for data centers though, so
Okay.
obviously there are additional, ordinance amendments that I would like to cover as well.
I had that, and then I also had the property value. I think it should go more than 1 mile.
There's a 2 mile in there.
Is that a 2 mile or? I think it's,
There was a 1 mile and there.
is that 2 mile too? I think I was confused about that.
Well, and the property value guarantee within the zoning ordinance is simply a template. That's not something my office would enforce, and I would not even see those private contracts. That's something that
Those
would-
contracts come into play during the economic development agreement
Right.
negotiation. And basically, the ordinance is stating that there will be one, we're required, and quite frankly, in some instances, we were afraid to be too specific, because during that economic development agreement, we might be able to negotiate something that's far better than what could be laid out in this, depending on the company, the development, and the situation. And as a commissioner, I didn't want to hem myself into something that might limit our ability to maybe compensate someone that found themselves, in a corner or in a situation of some kind of development that would really, kind of cut down on quality of life. So by leaving it like that, it's kind of a template, and it's per ordinance requiring that it be dealt with during the economic development piece of it. That's kind of why the 3 mile, 5 miles,
So
it could, there's some flexibility in there, but the actual enforcement of that will take place between the owner of the property themselves and the company, and then, their related attorneys, because her office, or us as a county, into the future, we don't really have the authority to enforce it, but we're gonna require it to be part of our economic development agreement, or no agreement, no development, project doesn't move forward.
So you're saying when a developer comes in and wants to look at building on that Mac Park, they're gonna say, you have to have a property value guarantee before you can build.
Absolutely.
But we don't have, a box that we have to stay in because you want to be able to have bargaining power, maybe?
Correct. I wanna have.
You don't want to gut yourself, because 10 years down the road, when property values are higher or lower,
There might be some more opportunity down the road for an individual.
but there's no, my negative view of humanity anymore. I'm glad I understand where you're going, but I just don't want to be a loophole where they can wiggle out of it. Does that make sense?
100%. And I think this.
But I'm on the legal
ordinance
side of it, I
outside
just want to make sure that they're going to be constrained to it. We don't give them enough room to get out of it somehow. So,
Each of them are very, and when you negotiate things, your power too, aren't they?
well,
You're not gonna just have a standard here, say, because that might be bigger, and so you need it farther back.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I commend you for all the hours that task force and that you did, and the public is not very kind sometimes, like by all the Facebook stuff, but thank you very much for everything that you've done.
I do appreciate
The
that.
task force has actually done a great job. The way that you actually, even when we have questions, you're more than willing to help with that. And I agree with Mike that you did. But I'm just saying, now we have to pass that on to the people that we're helping here.
responsible to,
Responsible. See? Well,
all right.
So to do this tonight is way too early for us because we have to talk to people. These people want to know what's going on. They're scared. There's all kinds of rumors. We can help get rid of these rumors because this is the first time we've had this information.
What did they say? Nothing's been signed in ink? It's like, that's a common thing.
What's that
Nothing's been signed in ink. There's no signature
on the,
on the document on any of this. On a data center.
So anyway, I want people.
Janelle, if you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I'd just like a little explanation on the whole water supply and how it's addressed.
The water is addressed within the water studies that have to be submitted with an application. They have to, a developer would have to submit a water usage and impact study. The result of said study shall include but is not limited to projected daily, monthly, and annual water consumption, including their peak demand, cooling technology description and evaluation of alternatives, identification of water sources and withdrawal permits, aquifer recharge rates, and drawdown modeling for 5, 10, and 20-year periods, impact assessment on nearby residential, municipal, and agricultural wells within a 3-mile radius, return flow and discharge quality analysis, water reuse or recycling plan with percentage of recapture, and an emergency drought contingency plan.
Well, how many years? When you were saying the months and all that kind of stuff, how many years would that be? They don't just take like 1 year and figure out how much.
They have to do a study over what,
Right, it says aquifer recharge rate and drawdown modeling for 5, 10, and 20-year periods.
so they have to do a research or a model to do 5 to 10 years, 20 years down the road. Perspectives.
No less than 5.
So otherwise, what she's saying is that all these rumors that are going around with Jan Faker and Randy Strasser of having water already ready from Round Grove at $163,000 for them to put a data center in out of here, they're gonna have to follow her rules.
But who's gonna police that? And who is going
A lot
to
of
make
those
sure?
pertaining to the water and what would later be wastewater discharge is regulated by, EPA, IDM. That's the regulatory body for those functions.
I
We're
know.
requiring that those things be done as part of the permitting process, but there's a state permit that surrounds the water usage and things of that nature. And then any water discharge, just like at your treatment plant, becomes a, IDM.
And the EDA agreement would cover the water and electrical usage reports.
So basically what you're saying is they have to go through the study has to then be presented before they can get a permit to build. So if they cannot meet it, they would not get a permit.
Absolutely correct.
And Jenny Lynn, something else too that she has said all along is it will be a third-party person doing it. It will not be, the company that comes in will not be able to pick who they get. It will be up to the development and stuff.
And then if the well does go dry later, what happens?
That could potentially be something that is addressed in an economic development agreement. If we are picking on the Mac Park and the 4 most recent parcels that were rezoned for development, those did include a, 3-mile radius, that replacement wells would have to be,
So what if there's no water? So I live within a 3-mile radius, I have my own well, and my well is shallow and it can go dry already. So let's say that they draw, my well goes dry. I already know, because my dad was a well driller, he drilled wells for years in this area, that there is no more water on my land, period. Okay? He's drilled multiple wells and drilled on my property. Now what do I do?
So your well is how deep?
Well, I have a shallow well, it's about 25 feet.
So state minimum is 110 now, 120.
There's a lot of,
There's lots, shallow wells are the thing here,
it could,
because once you get past that point, you're in shell, below shell, you're
I
sulfur,
think you guys have a lot of shower.
very many shallow.
the sulfur's so bad, it's freezing everything, so.
Any ice cubes in the freezer and they're black when they're done?
Yeah.
Well, there's one across from that rezoned ground, out here where Mac Park, that Russell always said his uncle owned that for, and he used to fill the stock tank, he used to bed it down in straw then afterwards, and light it on fire to burn oil. And it was black sulfur, supposed to have oil in it, so it's,
So that's what we deal with in this area. Either you get, if you want clean water, go deep, get sulfur. And if you don't treat it, you're going to end up with every single pipe in your house deteriorating, your faucet's going bad, everything having to be replaced. Because I had to do that in our house, basically, I had to replace every single pipe, every single fixture, every single everything. Or you go shallow, and then you deal with the potential of running dry.
Well, I'm gonna give you as much honesty as I can, and it's based on the research that I've done. And a common theme I keep hearing is what if, what if, what if. I mean, we could exhaust ourselves with that. The bottom line is whether it be a data center development or a lot of the other things that are in the ordinance book, different types of development. Most of them have water and power usages that have to be met and researched, and these things applied to. And I've done hours and hours of study and made some trips and visited some facilities, and, you know, not every data center is a consumer of millions and millions of gallons of water. You know, there are different types, just like there's different breeds of dogs. And some of them don't consume any more water than like Zachary Candy or Great Lakes or Frito-Lay, you know, any of those places. And so, like, if we were in the same situation and Frito-Lay wanted to make a processing facility out here, you know, would we be having all the same conversations about water and power and things of that nature, do you suppose? Or are we just happen because the media has this fear mongering every day with whatever they're propagating, or because of how other communities are reacting, or so on and so forth?
Well, I think.
My only point is the research I've done and talking with some other municipalities that have users that are colocation style data centers that just process and store data. You know, they're not even the biggest users in their municipality. You know, their consumption rates, a lot of the ones I looked at, you know, there's several down in the Indianapolis area, a lot of their consumption rates would fit in the Commerce Park, and they would fit in the parameters of what Remington has pledged to provide for that Commerce Park, the full build out, which I think's 400,000 gallons today. Maybe if they go to phase 2, they could provide 500,000 gallons.
but we can't take all that, so wastewater wise.
I thought you guys need more.
We need more wastewater, but we can only take, Commerce Park only allowed 400,000
Total gallons.
total gallons of wastewater today.
And I'm just throwing that
No,
example.
I get it, but.
Sure.
But, so the biggest thing that is my issue with, say, the data center, with the wastewater, there's nothing in it. So it's flushing everything out of the plant.
It's making your problem worse.
It's making it worse because we don't need we need a little dilution, but we don't need bugs. We need the food for the bugs, not just the water, because then it just flushes us completely out of the plants. So,
Well, I will tell you, so if it wasn't a data center and it was X, Y, or Z, probably each one would have its own unique challenges that would have to be worked through during an economic development agreement.
right.
And then, you know, the surrounding community, what the existing circumstances are, what they would have to be, how they need to be addressed to move forward together. I think no matter what we're discussing, the data center thing, I mean, probably a lot of you know, I was kind of a big rock chucker, you know, in the past, but once I was kind of forced to dive into it because of the position I'm in, you know, my research has told me, and nobody laughed because some people have heard this, you know, the first one was built in 1945 on the campus of the University of Pennsylvania. And its primary function was tabulating artillery fire in response to World War II. They started building them in Indiana in the early 70s. IBM was the big driver behind that. There's several in the Indianapolis area. You know, it's like a storage locker for data. Now, we all know there's these AI
AI-driven one, and that's kind of a race that, you know, our federal government wants us to participate in, wants us to be leaders in. You know, that's kind of on that other hairy edge of things, we'll say politically and things of that nature, but the data center itself is just a large mainframe computer. So my heart feeling is, with these ordinances, we were one of the first counties in the state to even adapt any data center ordinances. We were kind of on the cutting edge of that. And because we have had some interest with our economic development office, and, you know, I think we have 3 grids represented in the county, 3 grid operators. I mean, people are looking at us like, oh, this would be a great place. And so I know early on, you know, we're one of the few counties that had a chapter. And we went to work to add some more things to it. And I think all of us understand that it's going to be kind of a fluid document that needs probably some refining as ideas are presented or circumstances are presented. I certainly don't. I don't know if anybody else in the church is going to profess to be some type of an expert on them, but what I have learned through my research and conversations with other commissioners and other people in the industry around the state and the travels I've had to make this summer is that technology is getting better every day, because for these companies, it's an expense to go to the community and build infrastructure. It's an expense if they have to be a customer and they're buying their water, you know, their gallons daily. So I think the whole process resolves just like a lot of the other chapters do. This one probably a little more quickly because it is kind of a hot topic, but I think we're moving in the right direction. I know I didn't make any task force meetings. I stood in the doorway briefly at one, but I had a lot of contact with some of the members on it, and I think everybody was refreshed. We had community members sitting in, general public. They were able to participate to a degree, and I think a lot of their input and just the fact they were there spending time was greatly appreciated. I can appreciate your thought here to take some time, digest what you see, talk to your people.
You kind of proved my point with what you're saying. Because you said when you first started out, and you didn't know anything about it, and had to do all these hours and hours and hours of research.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give the people here a chance to think about it. I can't just come in here and say, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and, pass these ordinances. I understand all that. I also understand that when you're saying the third party thing, I'm sorry, but there's over 130 different places that have been tested by the federal government and had found out later that there was something wrong with the soil or the water or whatever. So the third party thing, I don't trust it either. But that has nothing to do with you guys. I just want to be able to fully understand this. I'm dyslexic, so it takes me twice as long to figure
I'm
out all the
certainly not
different.
here to cram it down your throat either.
I'm not trying to come in, I'm just saying, we just need more time. So I just want to table it.
Can I ask why this board hasn't requested any changes since the first inclusion of data centers in the ordinance at the beginning of the year?
I wasn't here at the beginning of the year.
Yes, you were, in January.
Well, yes.
I did read the original one, which was like a page and a half.
Right.
And then I went and read all of that word for word. It's a lot. It's a lot in
To be
there.
honest, I don't think we realized that we could request changes until this last month. We kind of all realized that after the last thing that you brought to us on the height requirements, we kind of realized that we kind of spoke too soon before we realized what was going on. And I think after that, we realized that we want to take a little bit more to figure out what actually you're telling us when we're doing that.
We just need more time.
One thing I want to touch on, the direct injection.
Deep one.
Yeah, so what does that mean? How deep are they going? Have they contacted?
Nobody's going anywhere.
I know that, I'm not saying what, is there,
That's actually gonna be one of our first topics at their task force meeting, that
Okay.
starts back up in January.
I'm getting at, you got,
You guys meet
you
before,
got veteran gas wells out here, they're storing natural gas wells. So are they, how deep are they going and everything into that?
We're actually looking at taking that deep well injection, I'm gonna say activity out of the I3 zoning designation.
Right, so currently, and maybe you're thinking of a different use type and I'm totally missing the conversation right now. But if you're talking about pumping like an industrial waste below, is that what you're,
Is that what the, what
I
is?
don't know, I'm asking-
I'm
I'm asking
asking, what is the, so what are the deep well, when I hear injection, I'm hearing waste going down.
like industrial waste?
Well, I think, I could be wrong, but like the wastewater or the, the cooling,
Cooling water, is
instead
what
of
I'm
pumping
thinking.
it to the municipalities, they would take that water and deep inject it in my,
So, and there's zero reason I can't disclose this. We had a company out of Texas call the commissioners and express interest in locating to the Commerce Park, and their business would be taking in wastewater of various kinds and doing kind of what they do like the Newton County landfill. They take water that's been treated to some degree, but still has some metals and some things in the water. And they pump it down in the ground, 1,300, 1,500, I don't know how many feet, and dissipate it in the saltwater level of the earth. So they kind of talked to us a little bit, they kicked some tires at economic development. And quite frankly, that's what led me to approach her so that we could take a look at our zoning ordinances and see if we could, without being discriminatory, we don't, that type of development's fine somewhere, let's say, but the Commerce Park, that's not what anybody had in mind when it was created. Egg life, sweetener supply, food processing, things of that nature, some of the other different things that we're kicking around. Deep well injection is typically something that fits maybe at a landfill site, I don't know, but if you've heard a rumor, that could have been what spawned it. I know that's what spawned me to.
I had someone ask me that, but that's why I'm bringing it up, so.
How we had it in our ordinance, so.
I don't know what was going on.
So this type of activity that he's describing, I believe the closest aligned use would be an industrial waste facility. Within the definition in the zoning ordinance, it does allow subgrade injection. Currently, there is only 2 zoning districts, which it is kind of allowed. One would be in I3, but it has to be along a railroad right of way, or an I2 with special exception use through the BZA. So like Commissioner Pat stated, he did come to me, and that is on my radar. At the next task force meeting, we will be going through the entire use chart, what's allowed where and what shouldn't be allowed where. And that is on my list to remove it from the I3. Now, could they still locate in an I2? Certainly, but they would have to go through BZA approval.
so you're gonna make that not allowed on I3, is that what I understand?
And that's my intent, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's my
No,
intent.
that's what I was questioning.
We're gonna propose it.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
then I would go to the APC.
Go to the APC first, and then,
So you guys are still,
That makes me feel a lot better, that was,
yes,
because when I heard the direct, I thought that was a disaster waiting to happen. Anyway, okay.
So when is your next task force meeting, do you mention?
December 9th, I just set the date today.
You might as well get used to us being there, or some of us, you know what time.
So, Janet, do you want to talk about, decide on this next meeting?
I think,
You're motioning to table it, but I'm questioning.
yeah, I don't know for how long, but I think we need some time, because I've been getting a lot of questions.
So,
I don't know, I should say.
I'm meeting, I literally. Next one is by December 3rd, I think is our next meeting.
well, we moved it, so,
It's third.
is it third?
yeah.
Yeah, so what is it?
I said the date. It's a Wednesday, oh yeah.
Changed it.
Well, we had to change it for Kirksey
Right.
to be here for our, the grant with the county surveyor did.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we table it until December first.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I said,
Oh, on what? Approve? Okay, sorry, I didn't hear.
I was on the fence.
Okay.
So because you tabled it, do you want me to return December 3rd if I'm available? Or do you just wanna kind of,
Can we just,
other municipalities, they tell me it's up to me, or I'm leaving it up to you. If you want me to come back, my presentation will not change.
My question, and I read through, I think it's the right document on amending or like, because we can approve, amend, or reject. If we have items that we would like to amend, do we just email you by that date?
So
Or
if,
before that date, so you can amend, or would you guys, how would the change process go if we have things that we agree with, but we want, like the setbacks, instead of 500, we want 1,500, we would email you with that? How would that,
so if you amend it or request to amend it, it would go, you would have to provide it in writing. It would have to go back to the area plan commission. They have 45 days. They can either say, okay, you're right, we agree, or they can reject it. If they agree, then it takes effect. If they reject it, then you guys have to essentially
Start
ask
over.
for it again.
So here's, and I didn't want to bring this up because here's kind of the pitfall with this. And I feel like the task force, we're pretty diligently on, but there's a reason for that. So you guys table it, we discuss it, you think of ideas, maybe you bring it back to the next task force meeting, you write up some amendments, it goes to APC. So, yeah, Monticello, Burnsville, Chalmers, Brookston. So everybody's got their own ideas at that point, everybody's got amendments, and then the area planning commission will go through those. And what will happen is we'll get it outside the 6-month moratorium. So then ATC will have to decide if they're gonna ask for more time or they're not. Or within that, there's also an exchange of time between when they would bring it to the commissioners for approval for more time. So to me, a little bit of the risk with this is, what if we get a permit hit between moratorium and when we could possibly increase it from a year if the commissioners decided we wanted to try to push it out to a year. So I think it's good to read through it, and I think it's great to kick it around with your people, and I think it's good to get your possible amendments on paper. But I'm gonna encourage any of the town boards I interact with, stay on task though. And it doesn't mean compromise, it means just stay organized and on task and bring your ideas. And let's keep it moving forward, because what I can see happening, is a permit being pulled either, in between times when maybe we feel like our existing ordinances could be stronger, but that's the playbook that we'll have to play off of, or we end up with these with a few more amendments from you folks and Idaho, Burnsville, and can get that put together in collaboration with the APC. So I encourage you to try to get your ideas formalized and all ears bringing forward and see if we can all work
can we,
together.
like,
to get in.
Like he was saying, just send you questions for your task to discuss. Like if somebody says, oh, I never thought of it that way, could I send you an email?
Yeah,
And then you guys could, I'll be sitting here when you're talking.
I don't really think that, what's gonna happen if you come back at that first meeting, you're gonna be bombarded by questions, I think, and I think it's not really an open forum for questions.
Right.
It's just us to decide to pass the ordinance. And I'm afraid,
a pass, or basically, next meeting we would vote to amend the ordinance.
or the,
But
But then I just think that you're gonna be
with what
hard.
we came up with
Yeah.
before the meeting.
It's this document is always gonna have amendments to it.
Right, I mean, solar had umpteen amount of amendments before they got to.
Are you gonna have any other meetings for our next one? Like, are you gonna be meeting with?
The task force, other boards,
Yes.
oh, other boards, yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask, has any of the other boards, town boards voted on it?
The commissioners approved it
Yeah,
unanimously.
and you know.
The city of Monticello, tabled it because one board member had not read his board packet.
So, when these other places have questions, is there any way we can get, I don't wanna double dip. If, you know, if they're having a problem with something and you guys are coming up with a solution, that might actually work for us too. Is there any way you can contact us to let us know before that meeting?
Well, we're able to talk through things. The issue I'm seeing is if you come back and say, we want a bigger setback. I mean, the task force for 16 hours discussed setbacks and decided to propose these setbacks. So I'm not sure sitting it back saying we want bigger setbacks is gonna go anywhere, because so far, this is what has been proposed. If there's questions about something that we're not understanding or want explanation on, I feel like that's a little bit different than maybe changing quantity of certain things.
I'm probably not explaining well.
And
No, I don't think they're gonna let you know what the other townships say.
No.
Well, if you come up with, if they come up with a good idea,
Yeah, but I think it's one of those, we come up with our list, we email it. If we want to amend it, we come up as a town board with the list, and we email
I
it
would
to
just think
Jenny Lynn and,
somebody else.
But it also means too that if just because we send them a list, it does not
Doesn't
mean
mean
that they're
to,
going to amend it.
and you have something.
Can't the moratorium after 6 months be extended for an additional 6 months?
Yeah.
So,
It could
It
be, but there's
can
no
be.
guarantee that the
It doesn't have
commissioners
to
will do it.
guarantee,
And I'm not picking on you, don't give me wrong.
but if it can be extended, if that is a possibility, no guarantee, shouldn't the town and other communities take a little more time to review these things?
It can be extended just for purposes of delay. So if it's extended because we're trying to get information on something specific, then that would be a reason to extend it if we hadn't been able to answer that question within the 6 months. If we're trying to just push off and keeping data centers from coming in, that's not allowable, if that makes sense. Yeah.
But if the town's got questions and
Yeah,
questions.
we've been
and
trying to collect
questions,
those questions, since July, I think is when this first came, so that's why I'm asking, what questions do we still have that are answered? You might not like the answer, but what questions have not been answered yet?
Kind of like finding out if it's gonna offer back in and then it's gonna tell you no. But you got to give your offer.
Well, we appreciate it for that.
And something else to just kind of, I guess, hold on to is the chance of this development happening within your incorporated municipality to which you were voted to cover are slim. So the chance of the development going under the umbrella of the county commissioners is higher. Does that make sense to you?
That's the annex that we don't have much control.
right.
But we can't do that.
So not.
You run a bush about that?
Right.
You don't have to.
Okay, okay. Just making
We'll get our list together and go.
We'll get our
through
list
that.
together and I'll get it to you, Jenny Lynn.
Yeah, and if you have questions,
Thank you, that would be a good way, like, questions, and then as you read through and analyze it, if you see something you think, would be a proposed amendment changed, that would be as important, I think, as well as just your additional questions.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
We did all that.
Be careful on the way home.
Do I have to leave out too?
No, you're not. Yeah, go.
We've had more police presence here on smaller issues.
I know, yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Fran, thank you.
Okay, we need to approve the minutes from November 4th.
I'll make the motion to approve that.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What did you say? What date did you say?
November 4th.
It says here November 18th.
What are you talking about? Approve the,
Up top.
that's clerk treasurer. I'm up here,
Okay.
council meeting.
Oh. Hey, sorry.
Thank you.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Moving forward to the clerk treasurer report,
Did we vote on that?
not yet.
That's how I.
Come on, like, I'm the idiot out here. What are you thinking?
We have the November 18th APB register and the October 2025 financial review. Have a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Ordinances for ambulance rate 2025-1104. Do I have any questions on it?
What was it again?
The ambulance
Oh,
ordinance. We
That's the
read
second
last
reading.
time.
This is
This
the
will
second,
be when you guys vote on it.
Yes.
this is the second, yeah. Is there any questions? Steve, nothing to add?
No.
Okay. If not,
Are you liking it? You like the new one?
You're fine.
Do you like the new ambulance?
Yes. I love technology.
I make a motion to approve the ambulance rate ordinance 2025-1104.
do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Pam?
You should have information that are my issues.
Up underneath this. Okay,
So that the state nuance, the state of Indiana state nuance nuisance, right, nuisance, yeah. Code 32-30, is that, okay. So I have time to look at that.
So it's a very long, detailed explanation, so I tried to find the shortest explanation. So does everybody understand what, I got there and got any questions, got any way to resolve it, either one?
Did we find out? I mean, I got the noise ordinance, and obviously he's against the noise ordinance.
do you hear anything
I do,
Thank you.
constantly or?
not constantly, but I happened to notice the other night, I was out in my garage, cleaning my garage, and it sounded, the bass. And I'm older now, so I'm like, what is that? And I thought it was a car going by, but it never stopped. And I walked out, I'm like, who is that? And it was him, he had his garage door shut, and I was on the fence of calling, and I'm like, okay, and I thought there was a noise ordinance till 11, but now that I know it's not music, you can't have it too loud all day.
Oh, you can't?
No,
There's like a certain decibel it has to be over.
actually, if you read the town ordinance, if you can hear it in your house, it's too loud.
Yeah.
In your house, but outside?
Well, no, if you can hear it on your property, it's too loud.
Which means you can be sitting on your front porch and hear it.
So- But I heard it in my garage. I went outside, found it was Tyson. I was like, well, my kids are trying to go to bed, so I'm gonna try to, so I walked in. I couldn't hear it. I could hear it in their bedrooms, but if it was one of those things that was keep my kids awake, I was gonna make a phone call. I was close to it. So
ordinance because the town ordinance in town, the 911 needs to be called. That is up to them, for them to come
But it
over.
has been, she's called, she's reported, has there been tickets issued? Did I read that
I
right?
was told
There
this
is-
summer that there were two
there's
tickets
warnings.
and one issued.
2 warnings.
But it still has to go through the police. I mean, we can't do anything about it.
No, but basically, she's wanting an ordinance that he is held accountable, and the landlord, if he does, or I guess, correct me, if it doesn't get addressed by
Resident.
resident complaint or resident concern, and if, basically it's gonna go to the landlord, you want the landlord to be responsible for it as
For
well.
allowing the tenant
For allowing-
to, knowingly allowing the tenant to do it.
Yes, it kind of goes to, maintaining a common nuisance. I know that's more drugs and,
But to address calling 911 and the county and all this kind of stuff, Jared has instructed me several times to call the non-emergency number,
yes.
which I have done. They probably know my voice by now, because I called so many times. And earlier this summer, for some reason, he always knew when they were coming. And I figured it out. He's using his ambulance radio to catch the calls.
No, he's not.
Jared,
I can guarantee you he does not, is not using his ambulance radio, because our ambulance radio, Steve will tell you, has its own frequency, and it does not disperse police over it.
So he's
that
good.
was according to Jared.
Okay.
Well, I know that we can't get police over our ambulance.
Yeah. I think-
Nothing comes across our radio other than the ambulance. That's it.
Like I said, that's what I was told, so.
Okay. That's it.
So when it comes right down to it, what I'm asking for is, this isn't gonna stop. It just isn't. I mean, I wanna know, the tickets that were written, was the fine ever paid?
From us, he only had warnings. There was never,
JR came
Only-
to our house,
only
right after
read,
that, and
here.
said he gave me 2 tickets for ordinance violations and 1 warning for disorderly conduct. That's what JR's,
Jared looked this afternoon and told me before he left, or about earlier, that he had looked it up, JR gave him 2 warnings. There was never any ticket.
well, then I guess I don't like being snowed.
Huh?
I think they were written one.
They were written warnings, but I'm just saying, they were not tickets. They were,
So the next time, he doesn't get a warning. He gets
you get,
They get,
So I guess I am in agreement that, well, it's either A, somebody needs to be held accountable, by the ordinance, or we have to adopt but even then, if we can't get the tenant to be held accountable, what's gonna make the landlord be held accountable?
Fines,
He gets a ticket too.
Yeah, so what is, if he's held accountable and it stops, is that gonna be good enough? Or do you wanna go ahead and put the ordinance, your opinion, to have an ordinance anyway, just in case?
my opinion is, it's been going on for 1.5 years and he hasn't stopped. So what's gonna stop him any other time? So I would like the ordinance to be written, because then he can be issued fines, the landlord can be issued fines, and maybe that'll make a dent, I don't know.
Have you, please forgive me, you've read the ordinance that you cited in your email? If we went and mimicked that, would it be,
Does the county have an ordinance that you know of
No, they do not.
or,
for noise?
Nuisance, no.
I thought they did a noise ordinance,
It's just like a time span that they allow.
I got the ordinance book at
I
home
think it's
right
in
now,
our-
and I will look at it and
I
see.
think it's in our new ordinance.
I think it is too.
I think noise is addressed, as well as the increased fine schedules and things like that.
shouldn't let go
With
through
our
that.
40 days.
I don't know, do we have an ordinance for town nuisance and
Well, for noise
Jerry said no.
I thought the noise one
No,
was put in.
for
We
the
did.
town, not the state.
no, this is the town noise ordinance right here.
and then we bought the
Cast of
noise meter.
22.
Right, and so if there is an ordinance, surely there's fines associated with it.
Yeah, we have an ordinance breakdown, Jared has a copy of it, of, different ordinance.
That I brought.
Oh,
For
So
different,
I think the issue is
We'll get those in.
right, yeah.
I think so, because of just having the elevator and things over the course of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, of course we
Because it was about the same, like,
Should be
yeah,
in
but-
certain cases, but
They have ordinance.
at least.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yes, there is an ordinance, town ordinance that does address issues like that. What I want is a specific ordinance that has to do with landlords and tenants. Tyson is not gonna stop. That's all there is to it. So write an ordinance that says your tenant can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. Send a copy to the landlord, say you're just as responsible as your tenant, and set up, you get one warning. After that, you get a ticket, this is what the fine is. You do it again, you get a ticket, this is what your fine is. That's just my thoughts, my examples. Because he's just not gonna stop. And I don't even know what his problem is this last week. I mean, it's ridiculous. Other than he lost his job.
Yeah, that's.
I know that there's some, I don't know specific, but I know a couple years ago, they passed a, bill saying that we can no longer hold tenant, or, homeowners responsible for bills on property and stuff like that. So, which is how we end up with a lot of unpaid bills
A
and whatnot.
bill,
Yes, like
okay,
water bill.
this would not be, well, water bill.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is maybe let's check and make sure that there's no like, oh, what do you call it, like owner rights or whatever
Be
that.
nice when we put in an attorney president.
Right, yes, but,
So what I did is I read the state code and copied word for word that section state code.
and I don't know what it says, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what the state is saying, it's, it's your property. You have to
Hopefully
control
with-
the tenant.
Jacob will be here on December 3rd.
No, we're sure,
Pardon?
we're sure.
No, I said hopefully. So that we can talk to him, because I think there's some laws that we gotta worry about.
Yeah, there are.
Would we, and I'm just trying to understand this. Okay, tenant gets in trouble, how many times before the landlord gets in trouble?
I wouldn't say more than
2 or 3?
twice past the tenant. I address with the landlord, the person.
I know, I understand, it, and I understand the fact that this has been going on for you, that you've already addressed all this stuff. So when I say 2, I mean 2. When you say 2, you mean you've already done it 4 times.
More than that.
I'm just,
Yeah.
Once we create the ordinance, the time starts over.
Like a three
Yeah, you
strikes,
can't
you're
go back
out.
and draft a form. I've already talked to the person at the house, and I was basically told, it's none of his business. As long as the rent gets paid, he doesn't care. And I have that in writing, in a text message, because I do all this stuff in writing.
good one.
At what point does noise become a nuisance? There's kind of a, there's a nuisance,
Yeah.
if there's a nuisance ordinance, but not a noise ordinance, what?
It'd be different if it was every once in a while,
No big deal.
you
I
know,
would be
but
part
when it's like that, it gets.
I mean, you
No,
know how
you're
many
right,
times this has gone on.
Oh, I'm aware, I'm also aware of some stuff that he's posted here recently. That would not help his case.
Well,
I mean-
I would be curious as to what it's.
And my neighbor house
Watch
is
it.
very close to mine.
Watch this right there.
Anyway,
No, I'm good. But in my kitchen, I hear his noise. However, for me, that noise is not a distraction. But that's me. That's
Is it-
not,
Is it
that's not.
intentional noise?
The what?
Is it intentional noise? See, Tyson does this on purpose. He has a specific goal when he does this. He doesn't just, oh gosh, I turned the music up too loud, gee, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, he did, this is the guy that killed my dog
Okay.
that I'm talking about.
So, but I'm just saying, you
So,
know,
yeah, he does it on purpose to me.
Can we,
But what I'm saying is,
can we amend this ordinance to include the
that would help, just to add,
landowner?
just adjust.
Instead of
what's
another,
already there.
well, I mean, right here, I found it, first offense, $25, second offense, 75,
There you
and
go.
third offense is 150.
Is that ours or is that?
This is ours. This is from Carrie. I had her send it to me earlier today. Sorry. So this is what.
That's what I've been looking for.
This is what I brought it, if you'd like to see it. But we add a landowner and make the fines steep. I mean, make it hurt. Yes.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, yes, landowners can have some responsibility over their tenants, but I think what we've seen here is, first of all, our police department has not followed the ordinance and taken the steps that need to be necessary for the tenant. And I think we need to make sure that we're doing that before we start imposing on landlords, because now you're just, the harder you make it for landlords, the harder you're gonna have. I mean, you're imposing on a business opportunity,
Right.
so I don't think that's,
Jerry could
I
enforce the
think that's
statute.
ridiculous. I think let's just
Okay.
handle the ordinance as the ordinance is stated and make sure that it is actually enforced.
With fines and stuff like
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
I mean, you could put it in there, if it's not, use it, yes, sir.
I've got a question. If we got an ordinance already, why can't the town just send a polite letter to them explaining the problem and see if you can solve it that way first?
To the tenant or to the owner?
Pardon?
To the tenant.
To the tenant.
they've both been told.
Well, there's no,
I don't think that letter would ever.
That
make it
letter's
to
not
the
gonna
state.
do anything. That letter,
Well, I mean, if you're imposing fines and they have to be paid, or
Chris, let me see them. I think they have.
And
a
maybe
30
we
days
add
to pay the
a
fine.
fourth, fifth, I mean, make it hurt.
I think after 3, then we would.
But I mean, make an escalation.
Yeah, well, after the third one, then the landlord's in trouble.
No, I don't think.
no,
Yeah, I
you go further.
I can see both sides of this, and
The state code says that the landlord is responsible for his action, the actions of the tenant. That's the gist of it, the core of it.
and that's in that one that you referenced in your email.
It's like, it'll take you
But
an hour
that's
to read through it.
broad across the state of Indiana, or is it?
Indiana code
So there already is an ordinance
for Indiana, yes,
that
but,
but it doesn't cover Woolpit, or
yes,
It does.
yes, it's an
Okay.
Indiana code, it covers everywhere.
okay.
But,
But it doesn't specify.
right,
Landlord is responsible for the action of their tenants.
yes.
I hope that guy that owned that house down there where they just shot the housekeeper wasn't a rented house.
Where's this?
But I think that question should be
Where's
posed
that?
to the attorney.
Waitstown.
Yes.
You got charged today.
And you got
Friend of
charged
yours.
today for it?
I mean, technically, it's kind of what you're saying in
Yeah, that
statute.
seems
That's
a
not how
little
I
bit-
understand
A
it.
little bit beyond.
You'll just have to look it up and read it.
I'll read, I didn't get a chance to read the state ordinance yet, but
And Jared has said that, well, Wayland has to start paying, state fines for the state codes and state ordinances. Well, you gotta enforce it, you
Yes.
know? And I understand that Jared needs to hear it. Jared has heard it, JR has heard it, the other third person has heard it. The third one actually caught him with a sound bar on his front porch, blaring. He just happened to be driving by and see it before I even called anybody.
in there it says that, whether it's you can prove it or the police actually witness it. So that it's very open to your side of it, luckily.
Say that again?
Basically, I'd have to read it again, but there's two ways to get caught doing it. Is if you can prove that he did it, or if the police actually witness it.
And the proof part is the Perry, whatever the word is, and Jared says no. I cannot think of it.
Paraphasia or something.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know what it means, but I didn't remember reading it.
Hey, I was impressed.
I'm
I
just
read it 2 or 3
saying,
times, I'm like, reading that right? Is it a but
But Jared says that's not enforceable because he has to see the hearing. And
But you're saying that that's not what it says.
I'm not a lawyer, I'm
If
just,
you got it taped,
can you record it with your phone?
my phone will pick it up that far.
Would do it, I mean, I guess the other night when I heard it, it would have,
I tried, it doesn't.
okay, so you tried that.
But Samsung's a good phone, but some things it goes But it's cool. It just makes me feel good that you heard it and it bothered you.
Yes,
That helps me a lot.
It's on other people's radar now.
like I said, kids being kids, I used to be there. So I was like, I'm giving a little grace one way or the other, because like I said, it was 9:30 at night, closer to 10, I think. And if it had been affecting my house, I would have made the call, but it didn't, so apologize for that, but
No, I just, figured that nobody else paid any attention, nobody
Yes.
else heard it, nobody
and I
else cared,
was always under the assumption the noise ordinance didn't go into effect till 11 o'clock at night.
except for the,
That's only for
excessive and.
construction, mowers, equipment. This radio and music is all day long. If I can hear it in my yard, it's too loud.
You're further away from mine, and you got a brick house or a stone house.
Yeah, in my garage, which is not sealed very well, I can hear it. But like I said, I walked inside, I had to listen, but I could hear it. But it was based, it was obviously, I could tell it was intentional. Or it felt intentional.
It was when was this?
Friday night, Thursday night,
And then Wednesday morning, I came home, I spent the whole morning at the vet's office with the dog, came home about 12:30 to that mess. And, I came up here to ask Carrie, who was on duty, nobody was yet. So she either called or texted Jared, and Jared, before he could get into town, well, I think, interrupt that. I went back home, and when I got back home, it was absolutely ridiculous. It was like 4 or 5, I mean, it was just hugely loud. And I called Carrie, and she said that she had let Jared know, but before Jared could get there, Tyson had shut it down, closed the door and left. And this was, middle of the day. And I was already in a bad mood anyway. So that's what prompted me writing this.
understandable.
So you have the city noise ordinance,
Sounds like we just started enforcing.
with a fine schedule, but hasn't been used yet or enforced.
Well, I guess it sounds like it's the proof that you gotta get.
That's where the prima facie comes in.
Right?
And I did verify that with George Lloyd. Because it was kind
What does that,
of, can you,
prima facie, what does that mean? Does he,
I would think the town has invested in a
Noise meter.
noise meter. Why can't they place the noise meter in front of your house? And then
I don't think it records, I think it just
it doesn't
measures
record.
Which is fine.
non-stop. That would be absolutely.
when you.
Yeah, I think it's like a radar type, like you have to hold it.
But,
One
you know,
that records.
there should be,
Right.
Down there the other day.
Yeah, he had it in the truck.
It's just like a walkie-talkie.
which,
Aimed at
in a way,
Talking to
if that was in the video, with you having that shown, or taking a picture, video of that screen, that should be evidence.
Do you have a ring on your house, on your door?
I'm sorry,
Do you have a ring?
room camera?
I have a Blink, I installed a Blink. Carrie's truck got stolen 2 weeks ago.
I know, I heard that.
So.
Because the ring, actually, you can hear.
Well, you might check your recordings on that, see if it picked it up.
Yeah.
Or I guess
You
it's.
haven't yet.
Oh!
Yeah, you got that by the guy.
But it's,
When you were talking to Carrie on the phone the other day, and it was really loud, could you have just walked outside and had a witness?
I didn't think of that until it's too late.
We'll think of it next
But our daughter in Tennessee, sent us an early Christmas present and sent us a Blink security system, so we're kind of in the process of getting that going. And now that I have said that, that could be part of it, you think,
What's that?
our cameras?
I don't think so, that.
Okay.
He had just made a post that he was going to antagonize you.
I'm sorry.
He made a post that he was going to
I'm sorry, I
antagonize.
said, I didn't hear what you said.
He made a social media post saying he was doing it on purpose to antagonize. So now we have proof.
It worked.
My neighbor was.
Sorry.
Get on his page and print it off.
Well, there's a second part to this too.
Yes.
So,
I guess before we move to the second part, we want to make sure the first part's addressed. So we we look at a ordinance or see if the state ordinance will cover the town of Woolpit. Then we don't have to do anything, but we also make a conversation with Jared to figure out how we can
enforce the state.
Yes.
enforce the state law or even the town law, bear burden of proof, basically.
Or, see, mainly see too, is if she took a video of her using the noise meter, would that be proof enough for him?
There's probably a slippery slope. Well, where was the noise coming from? Was it the
Well, that's what I'm
elevator?
saying, video, not just,
Well, her phone video won't pick up.
but it won't be picking up her making noise.
It could be my wife over there yelling at daycare kids.
Well-
You never know.
I'm aware, but I'm saying,
But how do you prove that that noise on the noise meter is his? You see what I'm at?
There's a lot
but it,
of slippery places.
you got slippery spots, but it would give it a little bit more.
Yes. And you can go right to your property line, because it says that, on your property, it doesn't say in your house, on your porch. So, I made a comment to my wife, said, have you heard his music? Because she's home all day, but she hasn't.
She's got lots of kids around, so she could,
Well, she does sit there at nap time, so that's 12, 1. So there's a 2-hour window where it's fairly quiet in the house, but she has all the curtains drawn, and again, our stone house. So, but now that it's on her radar, she can listen for it. So hopefully if you have a comment,
Does anybody else, you have a ring?
does anybody ask what?
have a video.
Have a ring?
I
I don't think so.
Brittany Adams, north side of us, does have a couple cameras aimed towards the alley, but she thinks I'm picking on Tyson, so. In fact, if she sees Jared go by or she sees where Jared is sitting, she will let Tyson know where he's at.
Oh, so there's your mole.
So, there you go.
This person stays home all day.
It looks like Ed Steve was released from his job this past week.
I guess how long is it? You said it's been in the past, but now that he's obviously found out he's unemployed, is it gonna decrease moving forward once he gets a job? But again, to go back, I think we look at the state ordinance and see if it qualifies or if it does in fact cover it, but then we don't have to write an ordinance. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
And then we just have to, hey, we're gonna enforce it.
Sounds logical.
Okay.
Maybe
And-
new cameras your deputy's gonna purchase, maybe the routes
Yeah.
to this guy's house, and get a place to stay for a while and see. if
We
he
can
gets
put it right on the over right in my window, if you
So-
want,
Okay, so is that satisfactory for now?
for now, yeah.
Put it over at our lift station too.
Get some video surveillance at your lift station.
Yeah, okay, one from the house, so I mean, it's the closest courthouse is.
So the
Second point,
Second one is, once again, it's 2 years old, been dealing with this smoke coming into my house from up the alley. The first time I complained about it, came into Minnegis's house and talked to Chuck. Chuck said that he does have 2 more sections of chimney. This is what he told me, it's in Kenny's report. But he doesn't climb a ladder anymore, so he's not able to put them up. Okay, fine, you would think that somebody would do it. But since then, all kinds of decorations have gone up and down, and somebody re-roofed the garage, so somebody's climbing the ladder somewhere.
Yeah.
So why couldn't those 2 extra sections have been put on there? So I'm asking that tell him, I'm not gonna say this the right words. Tell him until he puts those other 2 stacks on there, that he can't use that wood burner. I'm not saying the words just right, so forgive me if I'm not. I don't have a problem with people burning wood, absolutely no problem. But I don't wanna smell it. And if I had a smoke detector in my garage, it would be going off. That's how bad it is coming into my garage. I go outside, my clothes stink, I can't leave them outside because that's where smells come from. Can't leave them in the garage, where there's smell in the garage. You open the door from the garage to the house, the smoke goes in the house. My dog stinks when he goes out. So, I don't know the solution. I don't even know if those 2 extra sections will work or not. But until it's tried,
Right. It's making an effort.
you know,
Ethan,
I,
if you could say something to him, that you're also downwind.
Yeah, I have smelled it before, but I guess I haven't smelled it in my house, but I think ours is, our configuration is different.
It kind of hits, Sutton's building and then kind of zigzags and
Yeah.
slams into us.
So,
But if the stacks were there, I think it would go up over the buildings and just keep on going. I don't know, that's just my theory, but
yes, I can stop and talk to him and,
he's not a happy camper about the subject, just so you know.
Then you can volunteer to put 2 stacks on for him.
I don't find letter row either.
Just make sure you erase them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it was the son that came and helped with the roof on his garage.
Could be, like I said, obviously somebody's swimming around in that building, so they could have been put up then.
It's his catch-22. He's not gonna be happy, but right now, she's not happy, so I will have one neighbor that's gonna be.
It boils down to, he has the right to burn wood.
Yes,
We have the right to not have our house full of sun.
absolutely.
There's gotta be a
Yes.
compromise somewhere.
So,
And everybody, some people made fun of me, some people didn't like it, some people thought it was stupid that I put my air quality monitor up. And this last week, it has been in the red most of the time. Like, show you a picture.
where is that? Where does it, where are you measuring it? Is it outside,
In
inside?
the west end of our porch, right in the corner of his garage. It's a little white,
Okay, so it's outside then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Up under your-
Do you have anything inside the house to see the air quality in the house from it?
you can look up on the internet, just type in purple air.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's asking.
Did you put it in your house to measure how?
Inside, as opposed to outside.
No, it's outside on,
Okay.
it's another
It's
costly amount.
accessible to anyone.
Does the chimney extend above the ridge line of the?
It's
Barely.
legal.
Barely.
Let's put it that way. It is legal. Was
I
it
was gonna say that would be
10
nice
foot
code.
above?
Yeah,
Your next report would be, does it meet code? Or something like that?
That's questionable.
Kenny, you've been down there, I believe, have you not? Have you been down to Chuck Minnicus on his roof with his?
Last year or two when this all originally started.
Is he within code, do you know?
Well, you mean as far as the chimney height?
Yeah, building code.
According to most people with any brains, no, because as Carrie's father said a long time ago, the chimney should be a couple feet taller than the peak of the building. And when they built them, they always did that way, and it always worked, and wasn't a problem. I tried to get him just to take the cap off, so the smoke didn't come out the sides, that maybe it would go straight up better, but he was not in favor of that. He said that somebody had told him that water would get down in his stove and ruin it. And then he claimed he didn't have any extra pipe to extend it up. And he kind of all just went, he wasn't going to do anything, and that's the way it got left.
Okay.
As far as actually a code, I don't know if there's a code on common sense or not.
Well, we know there's not a code on common sense.
Yeah, I have.
Morse code.
But he's not willing to, he wasn't willing to do anything. Somebody took a lift down there or a bucket truck, and I don't know if he let him put it on. He wasn't in favor of anybody doing anything to it but him, and he wasn't going to do anything, so.
I think he told
I
Jerry
think
that he
it
would sue
extended
the
that
town if
to
nobody tried to do anything, because Jerry had a long conversation with him too.
You gotta get him in favor of doing something.
All right, thank you.
Did you have anything to report on?
Other than one volume. 90-day.
So somebody is going to talk to Chuck,
I will go talk to him and see if he's got pipe and see how,
he will tell you no.
which is fine. But that's the next step. in
Maybe if it's hurting you,
Maybe.
Thank you.
I will talk to him and
Thank
see
you.
where that goes, and then we can.
I do have to say that these two things have been addressed several times before, and this is the most discussion that there has ever been. With all the other times combined, this has been the most discussion.
Well, I think the fact that you wrote it out will really.
Oh, I did it for you. I did it for you. But yeah.
So,
thanks.
you know, I get, like, at home, I can sit and read it
Mhm.
instead of listening to people talking.
If you want to see what my reader, we monitor, how it works, just look up purpleair.com
Purpleair.com.
and it'll show you everywhere in the world there are little dots.
and it's usually red right here. There's always red and out there.
And it'll show you everywhere in the world where one of these monitors is, and you just zoom in on my house, and then you, there'll be a little number down at the bottom. You tap on that little number in the circle and it brings up a chart, and it goes up and down.
I guess my curiosity would be too, Chris, when you talk to him, to see if he's doing anything different than what he used to do, because until Pam and him moved him down, to the best of my knowledge, there wasn't any complaints on the Chuck burning.
Like I said, I would smell it, but it didn't get in my house, so I guess I wouldn't have, I mean, it's a, that's kind of
Even when
annoying,
it
but.
came to the wood, I don't remember.
He burns a pallet wood from Indiana, Powder, Measure, Pallet, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty.
I was wondering if somebody
Not
would
dry,
say
it's
what you
pretty.
just said, Betty. If you stop and think, we are the third or fourth owners of that house, and if you look back at any of the other owners,
Yeah.
who was gonna complain?
Poindexter. He was known for complaining in town.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm sorry. Yes.
so that's just it. But anyway, that's, I wanted to say thank you.
How long have you had the Purple Air monitor?
2 or 3 years.
January 5th, or December 5th, 2023 is when I first started.
So
and I
during
had
the summertime,
And I had the monitor.
the air quality goes back where it's supposed to?
Yes.
I'm pulling up the map now, but I'm just,
I'm gonna show
It's
you.
kind of interesting to look at, see how it changes all the time.
Here it has been the last 5-6 days.
okay.
And
Red is really bad.
Yeah.
What was it this morning, for red?
Hmm?
Is it really red this morning?
Last,
I know, what was, the air was really heavy this morning, so I didn't know if it was.
I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
highest was over here on this corner. I think it was 199. And there've been times it's been in purple, and there's 2 shades of purple. And one time it was 600.
I know, but I know the air was really heavy this morning, so if you had it going, it would have been.
But it's still, if
But
it were higher.
through the summertime.
I know, I'm just saying.
Or is it?
I didn't know if it made it worse on or not.
Oh, yeah. they-
Just baseline numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is he over the, is he over the?
Is there anything else?
So we'll start there. I'll talk to him, and
you know,
if that goes nowhere,
Huh?
then we'll.
I did not want to touch you personally because you are my neighbor.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with people taking advantage that way.
Appreciate that. But now that it's been brought up here, I can do my part.
You're it.
So I signed up for it.
Over, so tag area. Okay.
Mike, go to this part.
Well, in a way, without you ever being here, there's always a, we only had one person complaining. So now that we know that you're hearing it and you're even further away, then it has to make it louder in her house.
And I was like, well, what's the limits? Is there a decibel reading? You know, one person's loud as another person's.
For many vehicles is 80, and I don't think that there's really a mention of anything other than.
And I was really impressed at the ordinance when it said that if you can hear it, it's too loud.
I'm an old rock and roll musician, and if I think it's loud. it's loud.
It was loud, I will say that, it was very loud. So,
What do you have?
Whatever anybody needs to play.
No.
sufficient for now? Is there anything else?
Let's stand.
Okay,
Just the work begin now?
Yes.
Scott, you didn't have anything? Okay. Meeting adjourned.
You feeling? You?
That's the disadvantage.
We did. Class.
We passed it. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, she should have.
Here, you had a copy here, you wanted us to sign it, so I signed it, but then we just kind of.
We went forever calling up, we're back in there waiting for some.
So I'm gonna give this to you, and I guess.